the very people who encourage clients to seek help may sometimes hesitate to do so themselves.
You find yourself feeling frustrated and or sometimes even angry instead of feeling empathetic to the client situation.
Seeking counseling is not a sign of weakness in a counselor. It is often a hallmark of ethical, reflective, and an emotionally healthy practice. Hi, welcome to yet another edition of I Heal, Heal Unto You. In this segment titled The Invisible Load Interacting with Professional Counselors, let's meet Ms. Kushy Kuttappa. Kushy Kuttappa is a mental health professional with close to 2 decades of experience in the field. Her work primarily focuses on evidence based therapeutic practices and interventions. After completing her post graduation in psychology, she went on to further pursue training in counseling, applied behavior analysis, cognitive behavior therapy, and expressive arts therapy. She is also a trained supervisor. She has a diverse professional portfolio with experience in research, designing, and delivering training programs and therapeutic practices. Her work demonstrates a strong commitment to integrating research from psychology, philosophy, and spirituality to help clients build meaningful and fulfilling lives. Kushi, what does burnout look like for counselors in your experience? What helps you stay resilient and continue to be in this profession?
Now, when it comes to burnout in counselors, one of the signs are quite subtle. One of the first things to watch out for is resistance, and this happens before the session. You're not quite feeling as enthusiastic to be in the session. You are hoping the client cancels, you're hoping the client turns up late, you turn up late, there is procrastination that happens, you put away writing notes. So, resistance is one of the first signs to watch out for before you go into session. When you do go into session, one of the things to look out for is not wanting to be there fully. You're not able to sit down and actively listen to the client. Another thing that can happen is you find yourself feeling frustrated and or sometimes even angry instead of feeling empathetic to the client situation and being able to accept what's going on. That's another thing that you feel when you're in session. You can also have thoughts like, what is the point? Am I really making any kind of change here? So thoughts like this can happen during the session. Couple of other signs to watch out for is outside of work. You tend to find yourself socially withdrawing. You don't want to go out and hang out with friends. You don't want to talk to family as much. You're always preoccupied with work. You're always focused on probably client cases. You're thinking about it even outside of work. The other sign is a lot of numbing, a lot of activities that sort of help you numb yourself, which can include a lot of scrolling on the phone, that can include excessive sleeping, could include emotional eating. Now, of course, it's important to remember that these symptoms individually aren't necessarily problematic, but if it's consistently happening and if it's happening all the time, then you might benefit from seeking support because you could be burning out. So those are a couple of that's how counselors experience burnout. For me personally, in terms of resilience, um, this work gives me a lot of meaning. And so I know that I will always find myself um, doing this in one way or another. And so that's a big part of what keeps me resilient and keeps me coming back to this field.
Counselors are trained to support others through pain. But have we ever acknowledged that they are human too? Ironically, the very people who encourage clients to seek help, may sometimes hesitate to do so themselves. This hesitation rarely comes from a lack of belief in counseling, Instead, it arises from a complex mix of professional identity, personal expectations, and vulnerability. It's good to have personal therapy because it helps professionals become more self aware, recognize their own blind spots, and develop more empathy towards their clients. Seeking counseling is not a sign of weakness in a counselor, it is often a hallmark of ethical, reflective, and an emotionally healthy practice. What coping strategies do you currently rely on? Which self care practices feel sustainable for you and which feel difficult?
Now, when it comes to coping, my main coping strategy is dogs. I have 5 of them and I love spending time with them. I spend a lot of time with them, and it's almost like meditation for me. When I am with them, I have to be mindful, I have to be in the moment, and that really helps reset my mind. So, dogs is a big thing for me. The other coping strategy that I rely on is nature. I love going into nature, that's where my roots are from. So I spend a lot of time either take a walk in the park, surround myself with trees, really helps me. The next thing that I would say that I rely on is, luckily for me, I have a bunch of family and friends who insist on me being social, and that is extremely helpful. When it comes to practices, self care practices, I think movement and stretching is also something that's extremely helpful. Um, Reading is also helpful for me. It helps me stay interested in the field. It also gives me an opportunity to try out new techniques during sessions and implement what I've read about. So that is also very, very helpful. The last one I would say that I rely on quite a bit is having strong boundaries, especially when it comes to communication outside of work timings. Text message, responding to text messages on weekends and emails and answering calls outside of working hours. I don't usually respond to it, or I don't usually answer calls. So having strong boundaries is also very, very helpful. In terms of what is difficult to sustain, I think advice like take a break anytime you're feeling low, or go on a holiday might not be the most helpful, at least for me.
If you don't mind, would you be able to share your own personal experience with burnout, Kushi?
For me, it started a couple of years ago. A lot was happening for me in my personal life. I had to change my place of residence. A parent had fallen ill. Life as I knew it was completely destroyed. And I had to start building again with the elements that were there. And so there was a lot of change for me. And during this time in session, there was this very small question that came up for me saying, what's the point of this? And that question sort of grew louder and louder with time. And at the end of it, I did not see what change I was bringing to the client's life. I didn't see the point of my work. And so it became very hard to go back into session, and I decided after a while that I had to take a break. And so I took a couple of steps back from my work. I started doing a lot of things to take care of myself. I Self care was very, very important. I started spending a lot of times in nature with my pets, doing the things that I love, and it helped me recover. It helped me come back. And it's been a journey since then. I wouldn't say that I'm back to where I was earlier, but it's getting better. I can say that. Yeah. And so that's my experience.
The strongest shoulders are not those that do not bend, but those that know when to seek another shoulder.